Okay, good evening. You are welcome. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, although we still have like 4 minutes to the time. Is there anyone that has already joined? I can see, okay, we have some few people that joined. Can you can you hear me? Hello, good evening once again. Has anyone joined? Can you hear me? Hello, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Has anyone joined the lecture? Okay, you are welcome. Sure. Yesterday we were having issues with our network, but I believe today we have a strong network, especially you have issues joining the lecture today. Can you please type your name and the department in the chat box? Can you hear me? Okay. I think let's just continue. Can you hear me? I just want to confirm whether you can hear me. Okay, okay. Let's just continue. I think others will join us and catch up with the discussion. Okay. We are trying to discuss about chemistry of lipids. But before we dive into the chemistry of lipids, we need to understand some few concepts, especially the definition of biochemistry, and also we try to understand what a cell is before we continue. So, what do you know? As you know that this course is from biochemistry, and also you need to know what biochemistry is. Okay, so biochemistry is just the scientific study of the chemical composition of living matter and of the chemical processes that take place in living organisms. So basically, it is just the study of chemical processes that occurs in living organisms, and we can categorize those chemical processes into two. under the umbrella of metabolism, we can have anabolism and catabolism. So anabolism are just reactions that tends to produce polymeric subunits, polymeric substances from monomeric subunits, while catabolism is the opposite, which is the breaking down of those polymeric substances. So basically, the chemical processes that occurs in living organisms, that is the study of biochemistry, is that is what it's all about. So before we understand what biochemistry is, we need to understand what a cell is. And we know from our basic biology that cell is the what structural and functional unit of life that is capable of independent existence. And we can uh, categorize cell into three components. Structurally, we can say a cell is divided into three components. We have the cell membrane. The cell membrane is the outer covering of the cell, which prevent movement of it, which control the movement of molecules in and outside of the cell. So when we come to study lipids in details, you will see that there are so many lipids that are found in the cell membrane. We have the macromolecules that we are going to discuss in a nutshell, that are comprises of the composition of the cell membrane. Okay, so in the cell membrane, there are lipids, there are carbohydrates, there are also proteins. So we are going to, for the sake of this class, we'll be discussing about lipids. So we'll talk about lipids that are found in the what cell membrane. While in other classes, we'll discuss about carbohydrates. You also discuss about nucleic acid. You also discuss about proteins. So you will hear that in the other classes there are uh, uh, proteins that are found in the membrane, and also there are carbohydrates that are found in the membrane. So another part of the cell is the cytoplasm, which is the cell environment, which houses the organelles. Okay, the organelles that are found in the cell, the mitochondria, the lysosomes, the Golgi apparatus, and so on. And we also have the nucleus. The nucleus houses the what is the repository of genetic materials, where you have what DNA and RNA. So, and this cell can either be prokaryotic and or eukaryotic cell, as you know from your basic biology. And so the chemical processes that occur in living organisms occurs in the cell. So all the chemical process that occurs in living organisms, it occurs inside the cell, because the cell has all the metabolic capacity to carry out those reactions or chemical processes. So, and these chemical processes either leads to breaking down or synthesis of molecules. And these molecules are needed to sustain life. That is why they are called biomolecules, meaning molecules of life. So we have four different types of biomolecules that are important. We have the carbohydrates, we have the nucleic acids, we have proteins, and we have the lipids. So in this class, we are going to be discussing about lipids. So, and each of these molecules, they have their own peculiar characteristics, properties, and also they have their distinctive feature. So let's look at chemistry of lipids. But let me be sure that you are hearing me. Can you hear me so that we can proceed? Okay, can we proceed? Can you hear me? Can we proceed? Please, can you respond in the chat box whether you can hear me so that we can proceed? Okay, okay, okay. That's good. So let's continue. So let's look at the chemistry of lipids. So we are going to be looking at biological lipids, and these are important macromolecules that are found in all living cells. And lipids are the only macromolecules that do not have specific monomeric units. So all other macromolecules that you will be discussing in the other classes, the carbohydrates, they have a monomeric units, okay? Lipids do not have monomeric units. Nucleic acid have monomeric units. Uh, Proteins have monomeric units, okay? So uh, the word lipids was derived from a Greek word that is lipos, meaning fats. And if you want to define lipids, there are many definitions of lipids, but uh, in essence, this definition must capture that lipids are heterogeneous group of water-insoluble organic molecules that can be extracted from tissues by non-polar solvents. So when we talk about non-polar solvents, we are talking about some examples of these non-polar solvents. Okay, so we have this non-polar solvent, and we have like alkanes. Okay, alkanes are examples of non-polar solvents. Okay, we have the alkanes such as hexane, pentane, heptanes. They are all non-polar solvents. We have uh, aromatic compounds such as benzene, methyl benzene, or toluene. We have xylene, etc. They are all non-polar solvent. We have acetic acid. We have diethyl ether. We have chloroform ethyl ester. Okay, they are all ethyl acetate. They are all organic solvent. They are all non-polar solvent. So, and what is the common feature of these lipids? That they are insoluble in water. So, and they make up about 18 to 25% of the body mass in lean adults. So lipids, they are made up of long chain hydrocarbon groups. They are made up of what? Long chain hydrocarbons group, that is compound of carbon and hydrogen, that contains oxygen also, phosphorus, nitrogen, and sulfur. So related more by their physical than their chemical properties. They are related more by their physical properties than their chemical properties. So example includes, we have the fats, we have the oil, we have steroids, we have waxes, and some related compounds. So when we say fats, they are they are solid at room temperature, okay, while oils are they are what? They are liquid at room temperature. So when we come, we'll be discussing more of these examples, and we will understand better. So lipids are usually hydrophobic or amphipathic molecules. When we say hydrophobic, it means we mean that these are molecules or substances that do not mix with water. That is the word hydrophobic. Hydro, water, phobic from phobia, that is like hating or they don't like, okay? So they do not mix with water. While when we say amphipathic, we say amphipathic molecules, they are chemical compounds or chemical substances containing both polar and non-polar portion in their structure. So it means they have two portions, the polar and non-polar portion. Okay, that is what is amphipathic. While hydrophobic, it means they do not mix with water. They hate water. So the most common lipids in nature consist of fatty acids that are linked by an ester bond to glycerol or to other alcohols such as cholesterol. So this is a typing error. Is supposed to be linked by an ester bond, not enter. It's ester bond. Okay, so and they are linked to either glycerol or other alcohol such as cholesterol. So when we come to different types of lipids, we will see that the different molecules that are attached to the glycerol backbone. So in addition to fatty acids and alcohol, They contain other compounds such as phosphoric acid, organic bases, and also they are linked to carbohydrates. Okay, can we continue? Okay, that's good. All right. So what are the biological functions of lipids? Lipids, they have so many functions, okay, and these are some few example of the functions that biological lipids perform. And example in we have number one, we have they are important source and storage form of energy. Okay, so lipids provide energy. Oxidation of 1 gram of fat yields give us about uh, more than 9 kilocalories of energy. So they also serve as a protective coating. Okay, so when we talk about energy storage, and we can say that lipids provide more energy than even carbohydrates, because oxidation of 1 gram of carbohydrates is give about half the energy that oxidation of the same grams of lipids will provide. Okay, so oxidation of 1 gram of carbohydrates is about 4 point something kilocalories, while that of uh, protein is also the same with almost the same with carbohydrates, and but with for lipids it is more almost twice or more than 2 times the energy that carbohydrate, the same amount of carbohydrate or lipids can provide. So they also serve as protective covering or protective coating that are found around certain organs, which help in keeping them in in position. So lipids also they act as electrical insulators. You know, they insulate some nerves, okay, that allow rapid propagation of depolarization waves along myelinated nerves. So when we come to discuss about uh, uh, sphingomyelins, we'll see that these are some types of lipids that are found in what myelinated nerves, which are they help in what insulating the nerves. So we also have prostaglandins, which we can see that some hormones and some vitamins that are what they are protein, they are lipids in nature. We have bile salts that are also derived from what digestion of that they are derived from what lipids, and they help in what digestion and absorption of lipids. We have lipoproteins, which are complex of lipids and proteins. They help what cellular. They are what important cellular components, and they help in what the transport of lipids in the what in the blood. So we have what many other important functions of the lipids. You can see this chart summarizes. We say it's source of energy, protection, thermal and electrical insulators, hormones, vitamins, prostaglandins, bile salts, and lipoprotein, as we discussed. So let's look at classification of lipids. How many types of lipids do we have? Basically, they are grouped into three groups. They are what classified into three groups. Okay, we have the simple lipids, we have the complex or compound lipids, and also we have the third group is the derived lipids. So let's look at fatty acid. Yes, yes. Lipids produce more energy than than carbohydrate. Yes. Yes, lipids produce Okay. Fatty acid. So these fatty acids, they are the simplest forms of lipids. Okay. We are going to discuss about different types of fatty acid: short chain fatty acid, medium chain fatty acid, long chain fatty acid. We have saturated fatty acid, unsaturated fatty acid. We are going to discuss all of them. So they are the simplest form of lipids, and they are aliphatic monocarboxylic organic acid with hydrocarbon side chain. And fatty acids, they are abbreviated as Fa. Okay, so fatty acids are included in the group of derived lipids, and the most common components of lipids in the body are the what? Fatty acids. So we also have free fatty acids that are formed during metabolism. So the this is the general formula of fatty acid. Okay, you have this. Take note of this carboxylic acid functional group COOH. Okay, and you have this other portion that is what? The hydrocarbon side chain. So depending on the number, this N, which is the number of carbon. Okay, so this N, depending on this number, you can have, if this N is 3, you can have C, how many carbons? 4 carbons. And you have the carbonyl carbon also, that is 5 carbons. So this N, okay, this is just the general formula. You have the carbonyl functional group, okay, here. You have the carbonyl functional group, and you have this portion that is towards the alkyl group, okay. So when this ionization occurs at pH 7, you have what? Uh, the hydrogen ion from the carbonyl group dissociated, and you have what? These components. So, and this component is called the esters, okay? The COO negative attached to the what? The alkyl group is what? Esters. So that is why we have the R alkyl group or hydrocarbon chain, and COOH, which is the carboxyl terminal. So they occurs mainly as esters in natural fats and oil. Okay. So when we look at the nomenclature of fatty acids, okay, there are different types of nomenclature. Okay, the slide is not showing. Can you see the slides now? Okay. Okay, let's stop here. So we are going to stop here, and in our next tutorial class, we'll be discussing about the nomenclature of fatty acids. Okay, any question? Feel free to ask question whether now or later after you watch the video. You can always drop your question in the chat box and we will respond to it. We are going to respond to the questions. Okay, thank you very much. I think we are going to, I am going to end the lecture now. So if you have any question, you can drop it. You can come back and watch the lecture and we are going to address it. So I'm going to end lectures now and I hope to see you in another lecture. Bye bye.